bad that I didn't really care all that much for the characters, and when a character died it was kind of a case of, oh, he dead. Okay. Like, I didn't care. Is that bad? Like, I don't know. I feel like it is kind of bad though. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a book review of a particular series that I've just finished reading. I've wanted to review this series for you guys for a while now, and I have finally finished reading it. So I'm really excited to do my review of this series for you all today. If you have read this book series, comment down below and let me know your thoughts of it. If you haven't read this series, also let me know down below in the comments if you want to read it or if you don't. Let's just get straight into this video. I'm going to be reviewing the 5th series by Rick Yancey. So that features The Fifth Wave, The Infinite Sea, and then the 3rd and final book in this trilogy, which is The Last Star by Rick Yancey. There is a film, you've probably heard of it, you've probably heard of this series because it's been out for a while now. Like, the 3rd book came out a couple years ago. I've just finally picked it up because I saw the film when it came out. I went to the cinemas and I watched it because I didn't know if I wanted to read this book series, and I thought it was terrible. That is why it took me a while to pick up this book series. Aliens come to Earth and they kill everybody. They come to Earth, they kill everybody, and they kill them in stages known as waves, and there's currently 5 waves. We are currently in the 5th one, so everyone's waiting to see what the 5th wave is. There are aliens on Earth who look like humans, and basically the humans are divided. They're not working together because they don't know who is a human and who is an alien, so it makes things a little bit difficult because you don't want to pair up with someone just to find out that person's an alien and then you end up dead. That's like a really shitty thing to happen to you. The protagonist in this book is Cassie. So she was separated from her younger brother Sam, and her entire mission for this whole book is to get back to Sam and to keep her promise to him. I have some pros and cons of these series. My biggest pro is the fact that I think this is a really interesting concept. I think the whole aliens coming to Earth, trying to kill the Earth in different stages was a really interesting way to do it. The explanations that you were given throughout this series, I found they were believable, they made sense, and not at all confusing. And then the other thing I really liked about this series was you got to see multiple perspectives, but I like to see different sides of the story. I thought it was good to see the different sides of the world. So my cons is a little bit nitpicky. My issue with the multiple perspectives is the fact that you open the book, I don't know if you can see, but there is no name telling you who the protagonist is. So, you know, I literally read it and then I got to the 2nd section. You know, you don't have another name. So it took me halfway down this page to realize that we had switched the protagonist. We had switched to a different character. I just like the fact that up the top I wasn't told that I was reading about a different character. That annoyed me. I got confused very easily and I found it frustrating. And then you get to the 3rd book, The Last Star. Guys, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. We start to actually put the characters' names, but then it, like, also another thing that annoyed me, the chapters don't start on a new page. They start like halfway down a page. I don't know, that just annoyed me. There wasn't much more character development. They were kind of just the same characters that they were from the 2nd book straight into the 3rd one, making the same mistakes, and that frustrated me. And then I think also the next biggest con about this series is because of the multiple perspectives, I just didn't really connect with a lot of the characters, and as a result I didn't really care for the characters and their stories and their journeys, and they're just, you know, I didn't care. I'm going to talk individually about each book. I'm going to keep it spoiler free, so don't worry if you haven't read the series. The 5th Wave is hands down my least favourite book in this series. I did not enjoy it very much. I found it slow and a little bit boring at first. It took me like 2 weeks to read this book. I was bored with it, to be honest. Theme of writing this entire book was about survival. I thought that was cool and interesting to read about. Like I said before, I didn't connect with the characters, which is probably the biggest reason why it just took me forever to get through this book. I just felt like there was something missing. I wasn't sucked into this book. Yeah, so in this book we followed the perspective of Cassie, Zombie, and Nugget, who was her younger brother Sam. Like I said, I didn't really find the characters overly likable. So then we move on to The Infinite Sea, and guys, can I just say one thing? This book is so much better than The Fifth Wave. I enjoyed this book a lot more than I enjoyed The Fifth Wave. This one is leagues better than The Fifth Wave. I actually ended up reading this book in 3 days. Admittedly, it is a lot thinner, and it's probably really funny that my favourite book in the series is the thinnest. It's probably a really bad indication of this series. The characters are a lot more interesting in this book. They've escaped, they're on the run, they're trying to survive. It focused a lot more on friendship and humanity. The explanations of this book were a lot more in-depth. In this book, we just really follow Ringer and Cassie. The stuff that happens to her is really interesting. I found her to be a more interesting character than Cassie. I was really interested in what was happening with her because she was the one that was dealing more with the aliens and that aspect, which I found more interesting than the humans surviving in the wilderness. But this was definitely my favourite book out of all 3 of them. And then that brings us to The Last Star. So I just didn't find this as interesting as Infinite Sea. It actually took me a little bit of time to read this book because I kind of forgot I was reading it. So I kind of found in this one that they're all sort of just stuck in the same situation that they were in the Infinite Sea, and there wasn't a whole heap of character development from that. I feel like they kind of grew a lot between the first 2 books, but then in this one they were sort of just stuck making the same old decisions. They didn't really learn from their decisions, and this book really focuses on like the aspect of civilization and how we're going to rebuild the world once we get rid of the aliens, because they've worked out how to do it. They just don't know how to rebuild the world because they're a bunch of kids. Basically, a lot of people die. It's just like we're just picking them off one by one. This book follows Ringer, Cassie, Evan, and Zombie, I believe. I thought that the conclusion overall for this was really good. Like I said, I now know why there are multiple perspectives. You know, like there was a pretty central character to this story who died. I wasn't bothered by it. I was just like, okay, that person's now died. I didn't feel bad that this character had died, and it's probably a really bad feeling to have when reading a book series. So that's probably like my favourite thing about this book series, was that the author was completely and utterly aware that they were writing a world where aliens had, you know, come to Earth and were destroying and changing everything, and he wasn't afraid, like Rick Yancey was not afraid to just kill everybody. And I like that. Like, no character was safe and you never know which character was gonna live or die. So I love it when an author is not afraid to kill off their main characters. It's amazing. I have so much respect for authors who do that, because so many don't. They're afraid to do it, and it's stupid. So that is everything that I wanted to say about the 5th series trilogy by Rick Yancey. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please comment down below and let me know what you thought of it. I think it's worth the read. I'm gonna put that in there. I did quite like the series. I don't think I'll reread it, but I did enjoy it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!